Happiness. What is happiness? What we're going to be looking at today. Happiness is something which may or may not always be apparent to us. What makes us happy, for example? In my case, I like listening to music. This could be Queen, David Bowie, most rock. I also like classical music. That's Mozart and Beethoven, among my two favourites. Yeah, I mean, depends what mood I'm in, maybe what type of music I listen to, or whatever I'm doing at that particular moment. Yeah, I might use it, yes, for mood music, or I might use it to, if you like, actually block things out, make me feel myself feel an emotion, a happier emotion. Yeah. And yeah, we've all been to concerts, music concerts, which is a shared experience of an emotional, hopefully happy affair. You'll be very, very disappointed if you go to a concert and you don't feel happy there. I dare say it's happened. Yeah, you normally choose what concerts you go to. Sometimes we go and watch sport to feel happy or pleased. This could be football, for example, although when we watch England play, that can be questionable whether that's happiness we're actually feeling or frustration or any other number of emotions in between. Yes? Yeah, and again, yeah, Steve and myself, as we've often said, we watch fighting. It kind of makes us feel happy for some reason. It probably fulfills a need that we need. Okay, it's violence, but yeah, it's people that are willingly taking the violence on our behalf for our entertainment. Yeah. Films and TV, okay. This is where possibly Steve and myself may differ on a few things. I used to really, really love Star Wars, amongst other films I used to watch from the 70s and the 1980s. I also watched the film The Italian Job many times and always felt happy about that, simply because it wasn't a serious film. Yeah, the bad guys were the heroes, as it were, but they didn't quite end up where they thought they would. Yeah, lots of other films I like. I could list a few here. I always like science fiction, dramas. I mean, even drama films make us feel happy. They're there for entertainment. Some people watch novellas or watch soap operas for different emotions. But overall, is to make them feel happy and good about themselves, maybe, hopefully. On TV, yeah, we used to watch action. I used to watch The Sweeney, which was a police drama from the UK. The Professionals, again, another drama. An American series I was remembering that I used to feel very happy when I was watching in the 70s was The Dukes of Hazzard, which is actually quite difficult to watch on mainstream television now for some reason. They've pulled it off. We used to enjoy watching it. It was silly. It was ridiculous. It was a feel-good sort of story about everything. No real harm came to anyone in it. And again, obviously, we'll watch comedies sometimes. I mean, American ones, what I've been watching quite recently. Big Bang Theory is one, where it's a group of nerds who are into lots of things I'm into, the science fiction and dramas like Game of Thrones, etc. Some science, quite an interesting mix. Things that you wouldn't consider to be funny. Again, it's all about happiness. They go through different emotions, might make us feel good about ourselves, might make us feel normal, like the comedy Friends did. I grew up with that in the 90s. Not grew up, but yeah, we watched that and felt quite ordinary. And from the 1970s, I used to always laugh and always find this made me very, very happy or sort of emotional, was Fawlty Towers. Probably relate to it. As a really, really stressed guy, everything went wrong for him. Why were we laughing? He left there feeling happy. He'd done his job and it was good. I used to enjoy reading. When I was younger, I still do enjoy reading, I might add. But yeah. For example, I used to enjoy factoids, which is trivia. It was always fun to just learn new facts. Again, that triggered an emotion in me that made me feel happy. You begin to understand more about the world, how it works, what you feel about different things, sometimes challenging facts as well. And again, I used to read Sherlock Holmes as a book, novel. Very old-fashioned, maybe. But yes, it was crime. It was a little bit far-fetched at times, which made it into a fantasy world. And I always enjoyed fantasy as well. Probably where the science fiction comes in. What's interesting about science fiction is that it's now becoming realities. What I used to watch is a TV at the time, being fun. But again, this is all in quarrels of happiness, and that now our happiness is so involved in technology. We look on something online. We post something online now. And yeah, if we put a post, somebody likes it, it releases a chemical in our body, which again is probably an artificial stimulant to release something to make us feel good, which is a little bit worrying in today's world. But yeah, maybe we're overusing it to feel happy. We're looking for external reasons to feel happy. But which is why I come back to reality, as it were. Two things that I always feel happy about, or a few things I feel happy about when I'm in the real world, is I like walking along the beach where I live in Brazil. I also I come from near the beach in the UK. I used to enjoy walking along the beach there, or being near water when I lived in London, walk along the side of the Thames. There is something about moving or flowing water which makes me feel very, very happy. I can't explain it, and I don't really want to explain it. If I had to explain it, then maybe it wouldn't make could be lots of reasons for it. But it just makes me feel very calm. With that, I walk along. I know myself, I'm smiling, probably looking a bit of an idiot. But there we go. That's part of it. Okay, so again, when I talk about walking, I enjoy exercising. And by exercising, I do mean walking. I do some bar work or some weights myself. I tend to lift my own weights now. It releases things inside me that, again, feeling quite good about myself because I'm getting on in my age, middle-aged. Important to still feel good and fit and healthy. All part of the happiness process, I imagine. Yeah, and I'm quite happy. I will quite happily, the modern term for people is cut out toxic people in my life who seek to destroy my happiness, however they try to do that. People that want to be depressed, want to tell me what to think, what to say. I don't want to go around making people unhappy myself, and I do try not to. But if people provoke, I'm afraid they're out. Whether that makes them happy or not, I don't know. It's not my problem after that point. I do feel sorry for younger people now, because I'm seeing this more and more. They're being told to feel angry about different things, to feel emotionally tied into things, not to feel happy, which it worries me because maybe happy people are more difficult to control. I don't know. If you've got lots of people that are wandering around smiling, doesn't mean they're unaware of what's happening, but they're looking at the world in a very, very happy way. So that's good. I mean, obviously, there are certain things, chemicals that happiness releases. The most famous of these is dopamine, sometimes known as the Kim Kardashian of the chemical world, because it's one everyone knows. Dopamine is actually quite dangerous in some ways, because it's when we see a like on somebody likes us on Instagram or something like that, younger people overdose on dopamine sometimes. It's acceptance, it's the feeling, it's the reward. So again, that is an artificial stimulant for happiness. It's not too far away that people look for other external stimulants for happiness. For example, I mean, yeah, we've spoken before that we drink. I will never drink when I'm not feeling very happy. That doesn't mean depressed. That means when I'm not feeling in the mood, a good mood, I will not drink to hide the fact of this, which I think is a mature way of looking at the world as well. Why is something making me feel unhappy? I will look at the reason for it and find a way to move it. Sometimes it's just having a break from things. Yeah, if something's making me feel unhappy, if I don't need to do it, I don't do it. Yeah, I mean, one thing I've found that has given me some joy recently is to do these podcasts, even if it's blood, sweat, and tears sometimes, and very frustrating for us. But it's a lot of fun to do it. Yeah, and you learn about yourself when you do these things as well. I mean, yeah, people say, "Oh, about doing it." It is so easy to do. It's a lot of fun. Don't look to make money being a podcaster. Yeah, be careful what you say. Don't annoy other people. But yeah, there's a reward in it. It's a bit of fun, as I said. Yeah, and bringing on money. Does wealth make us happy? That is always the big question. So I will now hand over to Steve.
Okay, that's you've opened quite a few a can of worms here. Just to um, put some records straight.
Yeah, okay. Sorry. Yeah.
So here we go. You know that I used to be a musician. I used to be a vocalist. I used to be a
Yeah.
singer.
Mm-hmm.
So when I listen to recorded music,
Mm-hmm.
I listen to it with a critical ear
Yes.
and not as a consumer of
Yeah.
just letting the music overtake my body and
Mm.
overtake my body. So I listen to it with a critical ear.
Yeah.
So, for example, the band Evanescence,
Yeah.
when they started off, they were very, very well produced,
Mm.
very well produced, and I like this. I like the music, but it didn't take me like it
Mm.
would a normal person who is not involved with music
Yeah.
because I was listening how it was produced,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
what they did, the tricks they did to produce the sound that they did.
Mm.
And it was very, very well produced. And I
Mm.
was more when I was listening to it, I was more um, giving compliments to the production
Mm.
than I was actually enjoying it as a whole, as a
Yeah.
whole.
Okay. Yeah.
Also, that when I stopped being going on stage to perform,
Mm.
I used to produce events
Yeah.
here in Recife in 1997, 1998.
Yeah.
And so when I go to a music when I go to a music show, I watch it with a critical eye.
Oh,
And
dear.
I'm not there to enjoy myself. The last concert I went to was with my son,
Mm.
The Guns N' Roses concert,
Oh, you're lucky. Yeah.
which they had in the stadium, in the football
Yeah.
stadium.
Mm.
And they closed half of the stadium off.
Mm.
And probably because they didn't get that many tickets sold, and they didn't
Mm.
actually fill the place out. But,
Right. Yeah.
however, I was more looking at how they produced the event.
Mm.
What they did, the tricks they did, what amps they were using, and stuff like that. So I wasn't really there I wasn't sort of jumping around listening to their
Yeah.
music
Yeah.
and letting myself go.
Well.
It could be age, I don't know. So anyway.
Mm.
you make as you said that you get happy by listening to music. I don't.
Mm.
I don't. Right? But that's okay. That's okay. And
Yeah.
then you went on about soccer.
Yeah.
And you know that my son, he was a professional footballer.
Yeah.
So I used to go to every football game, you know. I still am, I suppose,
Mm.
in charge of an amateur football team
Mm.
here.
Yeah.
So I'm really, I'm used to it, and so I can't really get off, if you like, to a
Yeah.
to a football game.
Yeah.
And you know, anyway, so what you were talking about the stimulus that made you happy,
Mm.
and you were on about watching this on the telly, watching that film, watching this,
Mm.
and that's very much like the uh, drugs you were on about,
Mm.
an external stimulus,
Yeah.
right? So that there is, I would say that you are very much like, getting getting you an external stimulus to
Yeah.
to sort of make you
Mm.
make you feel happy, if you like. I don't get my happiness from that.
No, fair enough. Yeah.
So so what makes me happy? There you
Mm.
go. What makes
Yeah.
me happy? Let's go for it. Um, jests by people. Being nice
Mm.
keeps me happy.
Yeah.
Um, human nature.
Mm.
It when it's received well.
Yeah.
You know. I used to study Kabbalah, and that tells you
Mm.
how to make another person feel happy and
Mm.
therefore feel happy yourself.
Yeah.
Because it's a balance between the two.
Mm.
And so if I'm in a situation where I know I can make somebody happy and I know
Mm.
that them being happy will make me happy,
Mm.
then you
Yeah.
know that's the sort of tack. Not everybody knows about the Kabbalah. I really, really suggest. I wish a lot more people would learn about it. It isn't a religion. It's just
No.
a way of being.
Yeah.
What's happening, and spiritualism, being spiritual, is also
Mm.
another source of happiness.
Mm.
Because if you are spiritual, and I'm not saying religious, I'm saying
No, no.
spiritual,
Yeah, there is a difference. Yeah.
spiritual, you will get a different outlook on life,
Mm.
and it does alleviate you, I suppose is the word I'm looking for,
Mm.
and does facilitate this happiness that we all search for.
Yeah.
The problem what I see is this day and age
Mm.
is this word called complacency.
Mm.
We're all very complacent.
Yeah.
We forget to be happy. We forget to be happy,
Yeah.
and we forget to be thankful for what we
Mm.
have.
Yes.
You can see this, especially in the first world, in UK
Mm.
and the US, where people are complaining
Yeah.
of their lot.
Yes.
For example, complaining because they don't have a car.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, other, you know, well, what can
Yeah.
I say?
Yeah.
Uh, the people they just don't understand how lucky they really, really are. And I think that once they understand that,
Yeah.
it will be an awful lot happier. We all see the people. If you want to have an example off the telly, just think of the Waltons,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
the family, the Waltons. They were poor as church mice,
Mm.
but they had one another, and for them that was important. That
Yeah.
was important. The human nature between
Mm.
them all, and that is what made their world
Yes.
uh, vibrate, if you like. You know.
Yeah. Very-
Um, like I said, media is an external. I've
Yeah, of course
already
it is.
touched
Yeah.
on that.
Yeah.
It's an
Yeah.
external thing.
Yeah.
You were talking about your walks along the Thames and your walks
Mm.
along the seafront.
Yeah.
Yes, since a kid, I've always lived, for most of my life, I've
Mm.
always lived near water,
Yeah.
whether it be a river, whether it be sea,
Mm.
whether it be a lake,
Yeah.
and it's this sound of,
Mm.
and I put it down to nature.
Mm.
I wouldn't say water specifically,
Well, yeah.
although it does have an attractive sound as it's
Yeah.
running, as
Yeah.
it's running. But I'd say nature. If you put me in the countryside on a warm summer's day,
Mm.
or even springtime in the UK,
Yeah.
it's a nice, and you go for a nice walk without any pressure, and
Yes.
you feel that nature overtaking you.
Mm.
That there also would bring happiness, or could bring happiness to most people. I
Yes.
think, just get away from the humdrum of the concrete jungle that most people live in.
Well,
Even a change of scene, I suppose.
yeah.
What they call a change of scene.
Yeah, I mean, you stare. It's like staring into a fire, I suppose. But yeah, you stare into the water, and it's there, and it's what you say, spirituality.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep,
I mean, I've talked about religion before, but yeah, I can separate the two. Or I feel it's not you feel one with nature because I do understand it. I partly come from the countryside, but a farming family. If you go back generations, yeah, I mean, but even walking around a city is sometimes different. But like you say, you get near water, and it is this calming effect about it. Um,
yep.
you look out the sea. I mean, you can sit. I mean, we're privileged. I think sometimes you say, look at what you got. Yeah, Brazilians moan about Brazil. Steve and myself find a lot of positives here. I mean, yeah, it's tough, but like I say, the simplicity
Because
sometimes.
the
Yeah.
Brazilians complaining about Brazil are complacent.
Yes.
They don't realize what they have. They see it every day. They've seen it
Mm.
all their lives.
Yeah.
And so to them it's normal. It's normal.
Yeah.
When we bought the farm, the small farm
Mm.
in
Yeah.
the countryside here,
Mm.
one of the first things that we saw when we were looking at the farm,
Yeah.
it's on a little tiny hill,
Yes.
surrounded by hills around it.
Mm.
Uh, if you know like geography,
Mm.
you'd say that the landform was interlocking spurs. It's where the
Right.
hills they
Yeah.
join each other and
Yes.
make
Yes.
valley.
Yes.
Right. So one of the first things that we noticed was
Mm.
the view of all the other hills around us,
Yeah.
and how far you could see of all these hills, and they
Yeah.
just went on and on and on.
Mm.
And when we saw that, we said, "Yes, it's here. Yes, yes,
Yeah.
this is it. This is it." But
Yeah.
talking to the neighbors
Yeah.
who've seen that all their lives, they just said, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah." You
Yeah.
know, I remember taking some Indians, full
Mm.
neo Indians from
Mm.
the from Aguas Belas here.
Yeah.
In my music producing days, that we won
Mm.
a Itaú Cultural
Mm.
in 2000, 2001, I think it was,
Okay.
and,
Yeah.
and we went down to São Paulo.
Well, okay.
But when we were here on the process of going to São Paulo, the Indians, they came to Recife. I met them, and we had to
Mm.
go to the airport. And when we got to the airport in São Paulo, a couple of Indians were going up and down the escalators. They wouldn't stop going up and down the escalators.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
First time they saw it.
Mm.
And I asked them the difference between the city and their aldea and their village.
Yeah.
And they said, well, they said the roads are really big. The roads are
Yeah.
really large. He said, and the
Mm.
buildings are really high.
Mm.
And it was nice. It was nice to get this perspective
Yes.
from an innocent mind, from an innocent
Yeah.
sort of mind. And they were in their element. They were
Yeah.
happy as a mouse with cheese.
Yeah.
They were
Yes.
they were
Yeah.
they were lovely. But we have to get a balance. Like I said, the yin and the yang.
Yeah.
Right?
That's it.
You were talking about discarding your bad friends
Mm.
or bad people.
Yeah.
You can't do that because you need the yin and the yang, and I'll
Yeah.
explain to you something.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have the bad,
Mm.
you can't have the good.
Yeah, yeah,
You've got to have that balance between the good. It needs to be a reference point so that you see you see just how good your good friends really, really are, and how
yeah,
much you really enjoy their company.
yeah. I made the point. If you can, you're always going to
Yep.
be.
Well,
Yeah,
yep.
yeah. I
You know,
mean,
but you
it's
can't
not.
you can't get rid of you can't get rid of your bad friends
No,
because if you do, you'd lose the yin and the yang.
yeah, it's not. It's not that. I mean, yeah, have lit to do. If I'd like to think I'm still in a position to help people, I would do it. It's not total that. It's probably more interactions. Try and limit interactions with people. Um,
But you
be-
can't. That's what I'm saying. You can't unless
mm,
unless they're enemies.
no, but no, nobody's in
Because
it. Nobody's an
having
enemy for me. Yeah, but yeah,
no, but having a boring friend or a person who's always complaining, right?
yeah,
It tests your patience, and it's a good
yeah,
test for your patience. And I
yeah.
think it should test your patience. It should. We should all be
Mm,
tested
yeah,
because when we come to the good part,
yeah.
it makes it even gooder, even better.
Even better. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes. I, I know what you're saying. I know exactly what you're saying. I mean, yeah, I mean, you can say it about anyone. There's things about everyone, but
yeah,
um, it's, and hell, I know I'm not perfect in a lot of ways.
right, right.
Probably criticize what's in other people, what's in me as well. And I would admit that, but that's all part of human nature.
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Which is what
I
which
mean,
I stuck on, which I touched on
yeah,
the
and
human nature feeling of it. Yeah,
yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, I do part of my happiness, I suppose, is to be myself, and probably more than a lot of other people. Yeah, some
right.
people are happy when they're with around other people, good or bad,
Yep.
and some of us are happy being isolated to a point.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
Not to the point of going mad, not to the point of
No,
getting a baseball and putting a face on it, and yeah, I'll go with this, but yeah,
not 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 just yet, eh, Mark?
yeah, well, yeah. I do find myself talking to myself when I'm walking along the beach sometimes in English as well. So, I mean, yeah,
No,
I try and practice my Portuguese sometimes, which probably even sounds even more peculiar to anyone that's around. But yeah, crazy gringo. But yeah, I mean, that's it. I mean, yeah, when you have different life experiences, you should try and be happy in them. Yeah, I have clients or my students, they say they enjoy my lessons because they're amusing, probably makes them feel quite happy. Sometimes they're laughing quite a way through it. Bit worrying. Doesn't mean I'm a good teacher, or doesn't mean I'm part of the entertainment. Um, Either way, they're learning. The fact they can understand in the target language means something must be going right somewhere, which makes people happy. If you're learning and progressing in life, that can be a source of happiness.
yeah.
Yeah.
You were on about the younger people not being
Mm,
happy.
yeah.
Um, we must remember a human being is a predator. A human
Mm,
is
yeah.
a predator.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and we live these days in a very egoistic world
Well, yeah.
where we go chasing after things just
Mm,
for us. It was like I was saying, the person
yeah.
without the car is plenty because they don't have a car, you know.
Yeah. Yes.
And this is highlighted on the internet, of course.
Mm,
You
yeah.
can have if you have uh, a social platform
Yeah.
like X or like
Yeah.
Getter.
Yeah.
It's very easy. It's very easy. You can put the most innocent thing on the on post the most innocent
Yeah.
thing, and within three or four other posts, somebody somewhere will become aggressive.
Yeah.
And it's a natural thing from
Yeah.
from humans, either
Yeah.
because they want to be seen or because it's not necessarily that they don't agree with you.
Mm,
Even if they don't agree with you, they don't necessarily need to post that they don't agree with you, because
yeah.
face to face, a person wouldn't do that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
They just keep
Yes.
quiet. You know?
Mm.
And so, we live in a very violent internety world,
Mm.
a very aggressive internety world. And this makes people, especially the more meek people,
Yeah.
more, I don't know if it's the word despondent. It makes them more recluse. It makes them
Yeah.
even more timid because they don't want
Yeah.
to feel rejected by many people.
Yes.
And so, once again, this comes back to the lack of learning about the Kabbalah,
Mm.
of, of how you treat people, how you would treat people, you know. In the old days, it was called manners, having good manners,
Yes. I was going to say yes. Yeah.
right? In my mum's and dad's days, it was called having good manners and not being rude.
Yeah.
Uh, but the um, not only the Jewish faith, it used to be the Jewish faith, it used to be a secret, the Kabbalah.
Mm.
Oh, only for the few. But then the Jewish faith opened it up for everybody.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah,
Well, yeah. It's
it
like I said.
helps helps a lot of people.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, I'll look into it. Like I said, we may
Yeah,
we may have the opportunity of where we are, but I mean, I always thought that Christianity would be the answers, and when things I'm seeing now, um, even within Christian groups online, sometimes it's quite worrying. I mean, yes, and like you say, if I disagree with something, I might choose to engage. It depends on what context, or I might choose to scroll by if I disagree with something, as I would do in life. If I'm
right.
if I'm in a
Well,
situation in real life, if I don't like something, as I said, I might just extract. If I don't have to be somewhere or doing something, I extract myself from it.
I
Um,
challenge. Go on,
yeah,
finish your thought.
yeah. I mean, yeah, that's it. It's what I said. I mean, yeah, removing yourself from people, or me, or people removing people. I don't want to cancel anyone. That's not what I'm all about. If I don't need to engage in them, they can do their own thing. Great. I'm happy for people. As I always say, you stay in your lane. It doesn't necessarily mean I totally disapprove of you doing what you want. It just means it's not for me. And this is what I think is important. Yeah. I can be quite aggressive with people sometimes.
That's,
Um,
that's isolationism.
yeah. Well,
Yeah. You
is it? I mean,
do your thing and just don't bother me. Look,
well,
I give
it's not.
a challenge to everybody who
Yeah.
watches this.
Yeah.
Both of them, both of them who are watching this. Look, uh,
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
this is the challenge. Every
Yeah.
day, every day, do one favor. Just do
Yeah.
one favor for one person.
Mm,
Don't need to know them. You don't need to know them. Just do. If it's holding a door open, if it's carrying somebody's bags, if
mm,
it's just do one small favor. Giving
yeah.
somebody your place in the queue.
Yeah.
Just do one favor, and your world will change because
Yeah.
you'll start getting that reaction,
Mm,
interaction of being good, of being good. That's where you plant your seeds.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
let's move on.
Yeah.
You were on about our sessions
Yeah.
on the look. Every Friday
Yeah.
is Friday night is my night. Is
Yeah.
what I do.
Yeah.
If you are there or not, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Because sometimes
I
I'm
do it. I do
really.
it anyway.
Yeah.
And is I like to have copious amounts of vodka and orange.
Yeah.
I'm not frightened of saying that. It's
Yeah.
once a week. It's once a
Yeah.
week. In the old days, when I had a lot more money, I
Mm,
used to smoke cigars,
mm,
and it was the same thing. One a week, once a week.
mm. Yeah.
At the end of the week, I would smoke a cigar,
Yeah.
a nice cigar, but
Mm,
I'd smoke a cigar. And why did I smoke the cigar?
mm,
Was it that I particularly liked smoking cigars? Not necessarily, but it guaranteed that for that time,
mm.
it was for me to contemplate and to reflect
Yeah.
and to bring the world back to some sort of meaning,
Yeah.
So we're not caught in the rat race, and we can't forget that we need time for ourselves.
Yes.
Once you get that balance right,
Mm.
then you may not be happy, but I'll tell you, it'll be a lot easier for you to become happy.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
everything's in equilibrium.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, that's what we've got to look for in life, and that. I mean, yeah, it's easy to say it, and I know there are people there who, whatever reasons, have stress and concerns in life, and yeah, I've recently seen it this week with people. I've spoken to people who've had, yeah, things that put our lives. I mean, it's an old thing, but things that put our lives in perspective. And yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you hope you don't go where they've been sometimes. Every sympathy. Yeah, sometimes, I mean, when you're talking about helping people, sometimes it might just be sitting there and just listening to them, not always
Yes, yeah, of course.
commenting.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Steve and myself don't do that with each other because, yeah, we have quite a good hard banter. But other times, I've seen things in the past couple of weeks. And if anyone, if they're listening to this, I know they are, who have problems that are really, really quite tragic in lots of ways. And it's about 3 this week I've seen. People I know have spoken to me, and sometimes you just sit there. And I'm not saying I'm a wonderful listener. He knows that sometimes I am not the best person. But you have to sit there and listen. And all they need is just somebody who's going to sit there, not always to give advice, because the
No,
best people to sort their lives out or to sort problems out is the person themselves. They need you to sit there, just listen, maybe put some input, how you see it, put some perspective on it. Depends, you weigh it up yourself. Sometimes it's aggressively, sometimes it's just to be there. And sometimes better if that person isn't particularly close to you, as I've found. Yeah, they're looking to you because you're not that close, you're not involved in what's been going on in their lives. Therefore, you're an impartial person. Yeah.
I get many Brazilians talking to me
Yeah.
that they wouldn't say to their friends
Yeah.
because I'm a foreigner,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. We
they
get that.
think
Yeah.
probably I'm never going to see this guy again.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm like I don't know what a sponge, I suppose, where they just
Yeah.
get it off the chest and let's move on.
Yeah.
But I'd take that a little bit further. If you do become, people around you that you
Mm.
suspect, just asking somebody if they're okay is
Yeah.
a huge.
Yeah.
But be prepared for an avalanche of
Yeah. Emotion. Yeah.
all of their problems. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you've got to develop a wall yourself against it. I mean, you can't take enough of people's problems. We've all got our own issues. I mean, okay, Steve has probably got past that point in his life. I'm still quite a little bit
Yeah.
younger. I've got my own things around me, but I'm strong enough to take them. It's I mean, it's easy. It's sometimes easy to have strangers. Sometimes, yeah, it could be somebody quite close around you as well that might just need that little bit of a shoulder as well. Yeah, I mean, possibly. And I was joking with a Brazilian this week about this. That being English, we are probably a little bit colder than most. We'll sit and listen, yeah, and we'll try and help people. But again, if it's helping, as Steve said, he feels good when he can help people. That's not pride, that's not arrogant. That's something that's probably releases some endorphin or something in his melatonin in him as well, which is good. Yeah,
It hits off each other. Hits off
yeah,
each other.
yeah. I mean, yeah, you can't. I mean, sometimes you have to know when to walk away from people who've got problems, and they're not going to solve them themselves. As I always say, the best person to solve a problem is the person themselves. If they're not willing to do that, it doesn't matter what you do. You've got, yeah. Well, I did actually, yeah. You give advice. You just make sure they're okay, even then, possibly from a distance if you're in a particular way to do it. I mean, you're not going to solve the problems of the world, as Steve says. Sometimes, yeah, it's not always easy. Life isn't easy. I joke, we joke. There's a thing of pages about Gen X's that we're hard, we don't have feelings. That's not quite true. We're probably a bit more pragmatic than most. And I pull Steve into my Gen X world as well with that on different things. He's at the outer edge of it. Yeah.
I feel so much younger.
But yeah. I still get him approval with the Gen X committee. Yeah, I still haven't managed to get that yet. We're very protective, us Gen Xers, of us. But, yeah, we call ourselves the forgotten generation. You go on TikTok or you go on even YouTube. There's hundreds and hundreds of videos of this forgotten generation, just talking. But again, we're there for each other. I mean, yeah, hey bro, I'm here for you, mate. This sort of thing, even that kind of support. Again, be careful not to be taken advantage of. But like I said, I do look after my own happiness as much as I can. I try not to have my own happiness destroy other people's. I should try. Trying's all well and good. Making sure you achieve is the other thing. But yes.
Before we finish up, I want to talk about the root of all evil.
Yeah.
Right. And that was the last subject that you touched upon.
Yeah.
And that is, of course, money.
Yeah.
Money, just to let you know, money does not buy you happiness. It makes your life perhaps a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah. It's a class of depression. Yeah. Yeah.
Instead of living in a small house, you live in a big house.
That doesn't bother me, yeah.
I could never understand somebody who wants 12 bedrooms in their house. They can only use one at a time.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I was younger, I wasn't skint.
No.
I used to collect cars. I used to collect Morris Magna cars. I lived in an apartment. We had a look over near to Clent Hills near to Stourbridge. I had a two bedroom apartment, phone in every room. I had all the mod cons, all the I think we're going back to 1980 or something like this. And it came to the stage of when I got everything that I wanted in all the material things that I wanted.
Yeah.
I asked myself, what now? And I was just empty.
Yeah.
I was just empty. So I just left it. I left it and I went off from then on, I've been on holiday basically all my life. From when I was around about 20 years old, 22 years old.
Okay.
I've just been on a huge holiday, doing what I want, when I want, how I want to do it, more or less where I want.
Yeah.
You get these reports in the articles in the newspaper about people who have given up the house and they've bought a motorhome and they're going around Europe.
Yeah.
Done it. Or they've sold the house and they bought a narrowboat on the canal.
Oh, I'd love to do that. Yeah.
I'd
have loved to have done that. Yeah.
It wasn't a narrowboat, but it was a cruiser.
I understand. Yeah, but yeah.
But on the canal, on the Grand Union near Watford.
Well, yeah.
And so these things that we can do. But saying that, you need to have continuity.
Yeah.
Because once you get complacent about that, then it becomes. I'd ask myself the same question that I asked myself in my apartment. What now? What now?
Yeah.
You've got to have something to stimulate you on the horizon.
Well, I must admit,
everything in balance.
Yeah. Yeah, I think at the moment I've got enough in life saying what now, just about every day at the moment. But it's keeping life interesting. It's keeping me alive. I don't have a mundane life. Every day's a battle almost. Yeah.
We see many millionaires
Yeah,
or billionaires, as
yeah,
miserable as
yeah,
Jeff Bezos. He built his rocket the shape of of a penis.
yeah,
That was his that was his
yeah,
shout to the world.
yeah, yeah.
Look at me. He's probably not got any friends or real friends. I'd say
Yeah, he's a strange character.
he's gonna know a lot of people, but
Yeah,
having real friends.
yeah. I mean, yeah, I'd say I've got a small group of people, actual people I've met and know. Um, uh, yeah, what's the old saying goes? Yeah, friends come and go, enemies just accumulate.
Yeah,
I know it sounds a bit depressing, but yeah, you know what I'm saying with that. It is a yeah. I mean, yeah. What is happiness? I mean, somebody said about how I'd like to be Elon Musk, and he said, "Well, I don't like to be Elon Musk sometimes, but here I am." Um, I think he's actually quite well. I don't know. He's had so many different partners and seems to be populating. Yeah, keeps having kids, and he's looking for something that's probably not achievable in some
yeah,
ways in his own self. Um, that's not to knock the guy. I mean, I think he's a great humanitarian on some levels. I wouldn't say great. He's probably a humanitarian on a lot of levels. Yeah, I mean, I was reading today about a couple of millionaires on the Titanic who gave up their boats, their positions for things. I can't remember their names. I think yeah, it's quite notable. It's worth looking online if it's true. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of things written about the Titanic, and I like to check these things out normally before I say them. But and it's quite a moving story. So if anyone wants to look at it, I was actually going to think about doing it as a bit of a thing on its own, but um, again, it's quite a sad story. Um, and yeah, they gave up everything because it was worthless at that point to them. Um, allowing younger people to die when they lived, they'd had their life almost. And yeah, I think it was the husband who was the real millionaire and businessman who stepped aside, and his wife didn't want to be without him.